In a place where the boundaries of dimensions had been erased and several worlds had merged into one, the combined forces of all stood ready. Today, the armed forces of the Republic of Korea, the sacred knights from another world, a squad of devils straight from hell, and the advanced weaponry of a mechanical civilization all gathered at the Gwanghwamun Square. Their united goal: to annihilate the spatial dragon, Nidhogg, capable of exterminating all life. However, things took a twist as the heroine of our story thought of how she could leverage this for her restaurant. 2 years later, her restaurant had become the hub for all races and beings to come together and dine. A scene unfolds where an orc and an elf discuss how life on Earth has become easier since Nidhogg's disappearance, with only its tail left behind. But now, each dimension is engrossed in a battle for power. The inability to understand and communicate with one another vexes many. But within the restaurant, they could set their problems aside and just be themselves. Our heroine, Sua, serves a bowl of noodles with elfish mushrooms to the elf seated at a table. The elf inquiries about a new demon named Balivol. Sua replies that she hasn't heard of him, but rumors suggest he surfaced in the vicinity of Kanso a week ago. Word has it that he has already defeated the devils in Kanso and might soon launch an attack on Seoul. He seems far more formidable than Nidhogg, who vanished 2 years ago. Because of these rumors, the city is clouded with fear, with everyone dreading a replay of past events. In the next scene, we witness Balivol, having defeated his enemies, seated atop a pile of vanquished creatures. He notices 2 more, a succubus and a baby succubus, and contemplates feasting on them when a tantalizing aroma catches his attention. Drawn by the scent, he sets out in search. Back at the restaurant, the orc and elf from earlier are engrossed in a conversation about a wanderer with a massive sword on his back named Percival. Rumor has it that he defeated the demon king of his own dimension and saved his world. Though many hail him as a hero, many doubt his capacity to handle Balivol. As they discuss, Sua interrupts them, urging them to eat their food before it cools. She retreats to the kitchen, but shortly after, she realizes she's run out of salt. Before heading out to get some, she warns her patrons to behave in her brief absence. As soon as Sua departs, the restless crowd converges on Percival, pressuring him to find Balivol since they've placed bets on the outcome. Standing up, Percival unsheathes his sword, indicating he's already located his target. At that moment, Balivol makes his entrance. Meanwhile, in a derelict store, Sua discovers the last pack of salt, musing that she'll need to look for more soon. She also stumbles upon a new frying pan. Just as she's inspecting her find, a loud explosion from the direction of the restaurant interrupts her thoughts. The source of the noise, a fierce duel between Balivol and Percival. Frustrated and famished, Balivol is in a rage, cursing everyone since his food source seems depleted. He's prepared to massacre them all when Sua calmly re-enters, inquiring about Balivol's order. She offers him a menu, but to the starving demon, the offerings hardly qualify as food. Desperate, he demands everything be brought to him. Sua mentions they're missing ingredients for the Nidhogg tail soup. Infuriated, Balivol lunges at Sua, but she's not what she seems. In a blink, she's behind him, and he's utterly baffled. Enraged at the audacious demon who's wreaking havoc in her restaurant and clearly lacks manners, Sua dodges another of Balivol's attacks and smacks him over the head with her new frying pan. Dazed and confused, he demands to know her identity. The orc patron chimes in, declaring that Sua is the mightiest chef across all dimensions, who single-handedly defeated a dragon. 2 years ago, the boundaries separating dimensions cracked, and numerous worlds merged together. As time passed, there was a shortage of land and resources. Eventually, a war began, affecting everyone. In this war where all dimensions clashed, in a single moment, an entire city was reduced to ruins. 2 years later, on the streets of Seoul, gigantic animals battle each other. But there's a twist. These creatures are ingredients for Sua. She also hunts to gather resources for her dishes. Sua managed to resolve a conflict, and now Percival and Balivol are repairing her restaurant. A few exchange words and they begin to quarrel once again. Sua, arriving on the scene, breaks up the fight. Sua serves them a dish of boiled spatial sea devil, a meal made of the large, tender meat of the sea devil mixed with crunchy bean sprouts and a sweet spicy sauce. She reiterates that there should be no fights. Balivol finds the dish spicy, but Sua accuses him of exaggerating. She urges them to finish their meal quickly and focus on repairing the restaurant, as she has a lot of work ahead and rent to pay. At that moment, a mounted knight guard arrives. One of them is a familiar face to Sua, the vice-captain of the Holy Knights named Lancelot. Sua tells him that if he's here to dine, he's out of luck, the restaurant is closed. However, Lancelot replies that he has come for Balivol. He kneels and takes Sua's hand, seeking her blessing. Just then, a demon squadron led by Beelzebul, the supreme demon, also approaches the restaurant. She asks Sua to take in their demon king. A dispute arises between Lancelot and Beelzebul. Sua declares that Balivol isn't going anywhere until he fixes her restaurant. After that, she doesn't care who takes him. Hence, if they both so desperately want him, they must help with the repairs. The restaurant's reconstruction begins with a combined effort from all. Lancelot thinks that the faster they repair the restaurant, the sooner they can kill Balivol. However, Beelzebul believes that once the restaurant is fixed, the knights will try to kill their king, and they must resist with all their might. The restaurant is almost ready, with only the finishing touches left. Sua asks for the signboard to be nailed while she goes to fetch some chairs. But both the knight and the demon are on standby, waiting for the right moment when Balivol hammers the last nail. An attack ensues from both sides, but a swirling gust prevents them. 1 second for the powerful wind to sweep everyone off their feet, another to set up the chairs, and one more to seat everyone in their places. 3 seconds to accommodate a whole horde of guests. That's Sua's capability. All the guests are seated and served a special menu of spatial sea devil. They all begin to enjoy their meal heartily. Lancelot chats with Percival and offers him a position in the knight's squad. However, Balivol is not pleased. He rises from the table and tells Sua that he wishes to work at her restaurant. In order to determine if Balivol is fit to work at Sua's restaurant, he must undergo a series of tests. The first stage is cooking. He tries to make cookies using Sua's recipe but doesn't do very well. The second task is dishwashing, which also doesn't go well for him. After failing all the challenges, which included cooking, washing dishes, and cleaning, there's one last task, serving the customers. All of the Demon King's subjects have faith in him. A gnome named Whiteson, the leader of the gnome traders, comes to the restaurant. He orders crow-stewed wings from Balivol. Balivol asks Sua to prepare the wings, but she says they're out of ingredients. Mishearing, the gnome asks again, only to face Balivol's aggression. Emerging from the kitchen, Sua smacks the demon on the head with a spatula, reminding him not to treat customers like that. Frustrated, Balivol gives up, unable to comprehend how a restaurant can run without food. As he steps outside, he wonders why Sua won't just hire him. Demons often have desires they aren't even fully aware of. A muddled ball of intense desires is what it means to be a demon. Balivol has one main desire, for all to bow to him. Since he was born so powerful, he believes all should obey him without question. But as long as Sua exists on Earth, he cannot achieve global dominance. He simply wants to understand the secret of her strength. The gnome prepares to leave, mentioning to Sua that he came from far away for the wings, but if they don't have them, any other food would be a waste. Balivol intervenes, telling the gnome to wait as he will fetch the ingredients. Balivol sets off on a quest to find the Crow of Odin, which nests high above the heavens. With its golden, almost divine eyes, it watches over the world, assisting the Holy Father. Balivol couldn't care less about higher powers because he is the king of demons. Everyone should bow to him, especially Sua. Balivol senses the scent of the creature, more specifically, the bird. The heavenly nest, shielded by a magical barrier, won't deter the Demon King. He slices through the barrier, coming face to face with the crow. In the restaurant, Sua and Whiteson converse. Whiteson questions if it doesn't strike Sua as odd that the Demon King himself wishes to work in her establishment. Sua replies that she doesn't need such employees, but the assembly led by Lancelot and Balivol pleads with her to give Balivol a second chance. They see an advantage in this arrangement too. Sua can keep Balivol in check. Sua insists she still doesn't want someone like that working for her, especially when he left to catch a crow and hasn't returned yet. At that moment, the door swings open, revealing Balivol, who tosses a dead crow onto the floor. Sua points out that Balivol has brought back a fledgling. Crow fledglings don't have the golden fur. Not only do the parents care for them, but the entire flock does. Crows typically hide their fledglings somewhere in the nest while the group goes hunting. If they notice one of them missing, they will search for it. Suddenly, a flock of crows descends. Balivol declares that he's the Demon King and he doesn't care about anything, but Sua steps in front of him, taking on the task of dealing with the crows herself. With swift strokes of her kitchen knife, in just a few hours, Whiteson's favorite wings lie on the table. Balivol is hired. The scene shifts to another location. A mysterious figure, talking to itself, can't believe that the restaurant owner is collaborating with someone else. By doing this, she's expanding her influence. The scene reveals Nidhugg, imprisoned inside a bathysphere chamber. The celebration of Balivol's first workday begins. Puzzled, Balivol wonders why there's such a fuss about him working at a mere diner. Balivol explains that this isn't just any eatery, it's the world restaurant owned by Madame Sua, a true legend of the city. By befriending her, Balivol would ally himself with a formidable power. However, Balivol has other plans. He wants to dominate Sua and take everything for himself. Time passes, and Balivol serves as a waiter. As customers fill the restaurant, Balivol excels in his role, and Sua takes note. But there's more to it. He's pretending to be courteous to discover the secret behind Sua's strength. After a few days, as Balivol sits reflecting, he wonders why there haven't been any fights, and why humans and demons coexist peacefully here. The only skill he has truly mastered so far is polishing tables. Suddenly, a phone rings. Sua answers and then instructs Balivol to act as a courier. Only he can deliver wings from a location near the Han River, which is inaccessible on foot due to volcanic terrain. Upon reaching the customers, he delivers a set of Odin's crow wings, accompanied by 2 cans of any drink. The clients are familiar faces, an elf and an orc. The orc shares how Sua has introduced him to numerous dishes, including a soup made from Nidhugg's tail. Hearing this, Balivol gets curious. When multiple worlds merged, chaos ruled the city. Everyone fought for an extra piece, whether it was land or resources. As battles raged, the spatial dragon, Nidhugg, the most powerful and malevolent creature, appeared, bringing only destruction. Everyone united against this common threat, but their efforts were in vain. The only one who stopped Nidhugg without any assistance was Madame Sua, the owner of the World Restaurant. She remains the hero who saved everyone. Contemplating the orc's tail, Balivol believes Nidhugg knows something about Sua's power. He decides to seek Nidhugg and join forces against her. Upon his return, Balivol tries to enter the restaurant but is met by fleeing patrons, creating chaos. Confused, he enters and sees a creature with a spiky tail and a heap of dirty plates. He asks Sua who the lady is, and she introduces her as Nidhugg. Balivol is taken aback. This wasn't how he imagined the dragon. Seeing she has consumed nearly all the food, Sua asks if she can pay for it. The imposter Nidhugg responds, demanding the restaurant's signature dish, a soup made from her own tail.